Oh, hi, good morning. Just woke up, but I'm an early waker. I wake up pretty early. But I was, yesterday, for the first time in a very long time, I kind of got back into my YouTube channel, really dived in. I was looking at a lot of comments and a lot of things because they've accumulated. And I just want to say thank you, first off, to all the people who are very interactive. And I'm so sorry that I haven't been. I kind of built this kind of stack of things that I needed to do for me. And I have not really taken in the fact that it has done things for other people, apparently. And I've seen the comments kind of come in as things are going on, but being having borderline personality disorder and whatnot, you're in your head a lot, and then you're also dealing with the chaos and trying to organize and trying to be and become everything. It's a lot, and so this channel originally, and I'm gonna be so honest, it wasn't for any of you guys. It was for me to go back and look at myself and to understand like who I was in the times, and just it was very much for me thing. And then all of the responses and things kind of made me feel good. It gave me a sense of, okay, I'm on the right track. And that's kind of how I always have looked at it, is like just kind of people, I guess, validating my experiences. And I don't know, but I've never done this before, but I know on Sharina's channel, she used to respond. She would make videos based on people's recommendations and suggestions. I'm so sorry, I'm kind of stammering, but I am actually very shocked that I'm doing this right now in a lot of ways. But I got a request from somebody, and I think it is a really interesting one. They asked if I could communicate more, or give a few examples on how to communicate more effectively with people with BPD. And I just want to say I really like that they acknowledge that it can be different with every single person. That is the most important aspect of everything about my channel. You need to understand that every single thing that I'm saying is, in some sense, hearsay. There are things that are factual. Yes, there's data that I will throw at you that is factual. Go check it. Don't take anyone's word for it. Go check things out. Read things for yourself. But at the same time, the one thing that is valid and has merit amongst everything is my experience. However, my experience is its own thing within a scope of the borderline personality disorder, that every single aspect of being having borderline personality disorder. So what works for me, once again, I'm going to say this, I just said it in my last video, 8 or 9 billion people can't do the same thing the same way, and for anybody to have those expectations on anybody is just ridiculous. But with that said, within the borderline community, that same thing goes with it. Yes, we all may possibly have all of the 9 traits, and we may all show symptoms of every trait, or some of us may show symptoms of just a few traits all the time, or everything in between. And so it's really important to understand that what I say here, I'm not a licensed psychiatrist, I'm not a licensed therapist, I am not a licensed fucking counselor, I'm not a teacher, I am not a lot of things, but what I am is somebody who has borderline personality disorder. And what I have done is I have accumulated so many different forms of knowledge, information, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I've always been an intelligent young man, but having to learn these things to survive is a different thing as to having to learn it for a reason to, like for psychiatrists wanting to help people, or therapists wanting to be support for people. That's a beautiful reason to learn these things. Yes, and we do need them. Yes, my established team of people at the time where I needed them were my motherfucking life. So believe me when I say they are very important. But I have an important job too. My job may be the most important of all the jobs. Like I said in my last video, if it was not for Sharina Rooney saying, 5 years after everything just kind of snapped, then what would be the fucking point? What would be the point if I didn't have an example of someone who has been through it and has come out? That having that image, having that idea, that is what is the most amazing part of us actually being able to make it, is knowing that we can make it. Because there's so much information around saying that yeah, you will be this way forever. And maybe you'll always exhibit some of the 9 traits. Maybe. But guess what? Anything is possible. And there's a little fun thing I like to think about. There's this philosophy that anything that's ever been thought exists. Take that in. Anything that anyone has ever thought exists. That pretty much gives possibilities to everything that could happen in the whole world, in worlds outside of ourselves, and everything. And with that, it's in such a small scope that me, Darian, can one day not exhibit any of the 9 traits for BPD, even if it's just for a month or two. Just live a nice non-BPD life for a couple of weeks. That would be super cool. And it's thoughts like that. And it's things like that. It's so easy to say, I'll always be horrible. I'll always do bad things. It's so easy to say that. It's so easy to do that. And it could be just as easy to not do that. And to not be that. There's a scope and a spectrum to everything, man. But this person asked me to do a video on how to effectively communicate with people with BPD, because that is, oh God, I don't know why I haven't done that. So, as a matter of fact, let me go run to my mom's room for just a second. I'm going to get a book to show you. So among the many pieces of books or pieces of information that I've gotten, I've workbooks galore. But this one, my partner, and you probably can't see it because it's backwards. This one, my partner Eric got me. It's called "Stop Walking on Eggshells." This helped Eric out so much. So I got it. I told him if I could have it, and as you see, he's read it. He's gone through it. He cracked this neck. But it teaches you how to communicate effectively with people from so many different standpoints. One of the biggest things that it talks about is boundaries. Understanding boundaries for them and for you. This is specific for you understanding your power in the borderline personality disorder, or with your relationship with somebody with BPD. It shows you how to navigate those waters so well. Eric, I read this a little bit. Like, I didn't read all into it because a lot of the information that's in here is in my workbooks. It's in my it's in all the different books that I've gotten. It's in Sharina Rooney's book, who I bought, by the way. It's called The Big Book on Borderline Personality Disorder. I feel like I just keep saying her name, but all in all, what they brought to the table, this person, they asked they were like, this friend of theirs only likes to communicate in a certain form. I think that form was emails and things like that. And my response to that was, and it kind of just came instantly. It was you know, with us, our emotions run so high. Our thoughts are going so fast, those intrusive thoughts. And sometimes, most times, for me, pretty much all the time, I don't know if the feeling brought forth the thought, or the thought brought forth the feeling, or if the feeling that brought forth the thought is now fueling this next thought that is now fueling this next feeling, or fueling this next feeling. Do you get where I'm going with this? Do you get how annoyingly complicated that can be? Going just with back to back to back to back to back to back to back, to where now you don't even understand anything really about what's going on, and it's so confusing because there's so much happening in real time. So with this person, I told them, hey, I know you may have all of your curious inquisitions about why they prefer this form of communication of, you know, typing things out and then reading it, and, you know, through email. Because when I type things out, I reread it. I type it out, I reread it, and I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Or I'll change things, I'll edit. That gives them the pause and the space to be able to communicate in the way that they feel comfortable. And so when we have that, what we're really trying to do, when we are trying to kind of control the way that we communicate with somebody. I think that shows a lot of growth with this person. I never did that. I love that this friend of this person kind of figured that out early. You know, if I communicate with people through email, I think things might go a little bit better. I wish I would have done that. My thing is writing, and I would write, it's similar. I would write things out to people, and then I'd be like, can I read you something? And then I'd start reading it, and it is, you know, I'd be like, it's about you. And like, they'd be like, okay. But all in all, oh God, wait. Oh, that felt really good. But all in all, that person, that shows that they really, for me, what I see is that they really love the relationship with with their friend, that kind of doesn't understand why they're doing the emails. Like the person with borderline personality disorder really loves their friend who does not have the disorder, and I see that, and when I say that I see that because they're trying to protect that relationship to the best of their ability, and I don't know how early they're into their how recent they got their diagnosis, or how early they are into their recovery, but instantly that shows so much to me, because they value the relationship with you to kind of take a step back and just pause for a second, just pause and try their best. That looks like them trying their absolute best to just kind of really control themselves in the conversation. And maybe, guess what, this is something that it might look like that they do. They may read your email and be like, and just throw things, or they may read your email and just but one thing that they do is that I'm sure they read your email, they have their whatever, their expressions, and then they take a breath, and they're like, okay, well, I guess, well, and then, and they're like, okay, or they instantly, but then guess what they get to do? They get to go, alright, delete. They get to edit. They get to take a second, go through whatever the fuck they need to go through, and then edit that. That's what I do. That's when I take my moments of pause. In my head, I'm already about to play. Something I've always done is I play out scenarios in my fucking head. Thousands of them, it seems like sometimes, in a moment's notice, of how things can go. And then I always pick the one I'm most comfortable with. Back in the day, that used to look like me freaking the fuck out. Now, the one I'm most comfortable with is the one that makes me feel the best and the most comfortable, in the sense of where it's healthy. And I know I'm going to walk away from it thinking, you go, dear, and you really controlled yourself. That's what it looks. It looks like that to me, and in such a good sense. But you know, that it's different for each person. But at the same time, it's like it's so difficult. It's so difficult to take a moment of pause. In any way, even through email. I know many people who will get an email, or will say they get an email at work or whatever, and they're like, I responded to the email so quickly. I was like, and then I sent it, and I was like, ooh, can't unsend that. You can't unsend words. If somebody's on the phone with you and you say something, or you say it in a certain way, a tone, you can't undo that. But when you're typing something out to somebody in an email, and it's on your time, it's in your form of comfort. It's same as getting responses. So if they send an email and they don't open your email for that's their choice to not deal with the response of that for a nice amount of time until they're comfortable. Because we have so much going on in our heads. This disorder is so in your head, and it's so easy to get caught up in your head with things. And sometimes you want to pay respects to a person's response. So say they took time to get to your email and email you back. You know, maybe they needed time to clear space to be able to actively be a part of, to be present in that conversation with you. That shows so much fucking love. And so I honestly think this person, when I see this message that they I got a religio homonolipus. When I look at this message and I'm reading it, I see love. I see a lot of love from their side. I see a lot of intelligence as well, and I see a lot of protection. You know, you need to understand that at the core of our disorder is a deep sense and fear of abandonment. most of us, pretty much most of us, feel that everyone we ever have loved and love, even things, even pets, it will eventually leave us. In some way, shape, or form, it's going to leave us, and it's going to hurt every time. So much. And the more we love, the harder we love you, the more we care for you, the more difficult that gets, because it's fear of abandonment imagined or real. And when I say imagined, I mean, like I said earlier, the 1,000 different scenarios that my brain can go through. Whenever I have an attachment to something, that becomes a million. It becomes a million different scenarios. And that imagined part is so powerful. I don't think people understand how powerful the imagination really is. I can think of a million things easily that could cause me to lose a person close to me. And that's the scariest thing in my heart. I think the scariest thing for me is losing people. I mean, it's kind of like that for everybody, but it's hard. It's really hard. Losing it, yeah, it's hard. Yeah. So just understand that they love you, and with borderline personality disorder, we have to figure out how to express our love and sometimes even our hate in very constructive ways that aren't going to damage and bring rot things that otherwise seem ironclad and solidified, because that's sometimes what we do is, if we see something and it feels like it's leaving us, sometimes it's so much easier to go like this: oh, you're gonna leave? Bye. Even if it's an imagined leave, throw you away, because it's so much easier to throw you away than to watch you slowly go away. I know I've done that. I've also distanced myself from things. First it's here, then it's here, then it's here, and then it's gone. And every other way. So, to that friend, if they ever see this, I think you're doing well. I think you're handling your BPD, at least in that one aspect, really well. And I actually admire you for that. I really do. I wish in my roughest times I would have thought about emails. That's so smart. But hey, I got there in my own way. And I'm a talker anyway. I love calling people. And this person may not be a talker. They just may not be a talker. I'm a friggin' talker. I love to talk. God, look at the length of this friggin' video. But I literally just woke up. I need some coffee, man. It's like 5 in the morning here. My brain is way too active in the morning. I'm a get up and goer. So with that said, I'm gonna go. And so this video kind of is specifically for you, but them person, but them, and thank you for giving me an idea. I appreciate you. Good morning or good night, wherever you are. Bye.